the Question Response Podcast.
Hello, everybody. It is episode 90, I guess. How the hell have we been doing this long? I don't even know. The hell day is it? It's a Monday. September 30th, I guess the end of the month.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
October's just around the corner. And you know what that means.
No.
Canadian Thanksgiving. The truest holiday.
Well,
Yes.
Halloween's the truest holiday.
No. Yeah, okay.
Halloween's pretty
Well, it's
good.
like
Anyways,
Hallows Eve, so, All Saints
with me
Day,
as always
am I
is
right?
Nathan. I'm just going to quickly say Peter from SpaghettiCast, Marvel 64 Mario, from the Krasnor fan page on Facebook, is here with us.
Mhm.
Hey,
Welcome.
thanks. Thank you.
Thanks.
That breakfast
Stop
thing.
the applause right now.
Hey, guys.
Hey,
I'm eating chips.
how are the chips?
Well, by chips, I mean French fries, but,
I know what you
British.
meant because
Yeah.
Canadian, British, I mean, we're the same thing, really.
Yeah.
We're the same race of people.
hmm They're okay. They're from Wendy's, so, sea salt is the thing they seem to want you to know.
Yeah, they're pretty good.
hmm
Yeah,
I don't like McDonald's French fries, so...
that's a lie. Because everybody
Well,
says they don't like McDonald's French fries, but if there some there, they will eat all of them.
Oh, if there's some there, but I won't go out of my way for them.
Okay, yeah, no, I understand that, but if
I'll
they're
eat
there,
this
you
starch
eat all
any
of them.
day. Yeah,
Sure.
Aren't Burger King fries bad all of the time?
probably. I haven't been to a Burger King in a long time.
See, the way you do Burger King fries is you ask them to give you a poutine, and then it's just a whole shitload of cheese and gross gravy on top of the fries, and that makes them okay.
It makes you ignore the fact that the potatoes are shit.
All of the fries, the cheese, and the gravy they use are all disgusting, but put together, they all cancel each other out, so it's mediocre.
Oh,
This
man.
tastes
awesome.
like me.
Yeah, exactly. It's just chemistry. Science.
Speaking of chemistry,
Science, bitch.
yeah.
I
The
wish I
world's
had
most
that.
popular meth ad became... it ended. That was yesterday.
Yep.
And guess who talked about it for 2 hours? Us. And guess who got to hear it? Us. It's
Yeah.
gone.
Sorry, guys, you're not going to hear it, but
It was
Maybe
so
it's-
insightful, though, you guys. We were sure to sweep the Webby Awards. It was nuts how much
Easily.
insight we got to that show. Just
Who-
validated everything Vince Gilligan has been working on in the last 5 years.
Ginsvilligan.
2-hour podcast.
should we give some highlights without giving spoilers? I mean, we talked about the finale and how it ended.
Yeah.
We talked about the
We talked about
characters we
cerebral
liked.
palsy. Sorry,
Yeah,
what?
we made fun of people with problems.
No. We kind of just really talked a lot about Walt Jr. and what he brings to the show. It was really insightful. Remember,
Actually, you
guys?
know what? It's kind of weird, but we kind of did. We did talk a lot
Kinda.
more. We did talk a lot more about Walt Jr. than we probably should have. Than his character even warranted.
In the show,
We
yeah.
had an entire section on breakfast.
Yes, that was interesting to me because I'd never really heard just the more the idea that someone could watch that show and hope it ended with them opening a bunch of diners was exciting to me. But
Yeah.
sadly, no, that's not what went down. But hey, we're not going to talk about the end ending here. But yeah, that show's over. Spin-off coming
Is over.
soon.
I wonder if we should try to give it another go another day or something. Just talk about it. Maybe a
Maybe
digital
I'm do,
digression or something.
Pack right now on that front. So it's just I just ran out of things to say about it. I
Yep.
can't do that again right now. So
Yeah.
yeah.
No, digital digression maybe. I think that would be an okay way to go about it.
Okay. Now
I
that
don't
we've
know.
kind of formed up our thoughts. it'll be
Yeah.
Extra.
I'm going to quickly give my thought on Breaking Bad. It's okay.
Yeah, it's an okay show.
Yeah.
That was pretty good.
For more, listen to the podcast we recorded, but you can't hear because it fucked up.
Well,
For more, go on Pulse Hard Drive.
yeah. We could just post your side of the whole thing. And no sense at all.
Just like he'll say something, minute of silence, Paul busts out laughing. Oh, that must have been good.
Yeah.
No, that honestly was what it was like, because when I was going through it again to see how like the processing went, I was just like, oh shit, this is just my side. Then it's just me saying yep or something like that, silence, then me laughing, then a whole bunch of silence, and then a sound clip from the show.
Should have been there. But
Magnus
yeah, I don't know.
Rich.
That was a big thing that you did this week. You watched like 30 episodes of it or something. How much was
Yeah.
it? Number of episodes?
How many episodes are in each season? 13?
Like 13, I think. And then
So
16 in the 5th season.
The first season had 7.
I didn't watch the first 2 seasons though, because I had seen them.
Okay.
So 26
13
plus
season
16,
3.
42
42 episodes in one 7-day period. That's
at 47 minutes each.
yeah, dude. I can't imagine doing that, but binge watching is a thing. That's kind of Netflix's whole, reason for existing.
I did the whole series over 2 weeks. So
Wow. Okay.
it took
all
some
of
time.
them gradually over 3 years. So
I said this in the spoiler thing we did that won't be aired because it fucked up. But this is probably the better way to go about it. If you're planning to do what I did, don't.
okay.
Like, don't binge watch it. Just take your time. I mean, maybe stay off, like, sites that are talking about Breaking Bad for a while until you're done the series, because right now they're hot with, like, spoilers and stuff and people just wanting to talk about it. Take your time, go through it. I think you'll enjoy it a little bit more because you won't see a bunch of, like... when you watch them all in succession, you realize they really are shows made to watch every week, because there's some, like, throwaway material in some of them and just... stuff that can annoy you, because it's just like, I just spent like 100 hours watching nothing in some parts, you know what I mean, altogether.
Well, about 60 hours, but yeah.
Yeah,
fair.
you know what I meant. But yeah.
That
I
Fly
don't know.
episode, though, awesome. That was the conclusion
Sure.
I came to.
Yeah.
So good.
If
Probably
I
the best one.
if I hadn't spent like 30 hours before that just trying to catch up, and then that episode happened, I might have enjoyed it more.
Yeah, I know. That's fair enough.
Yeah.
But, anyway, let's not talk about that. Let's talk about Grand Theft Auto 5. What? It's the best video game.
Luckily, Meowth900 is not here. Otherwise, she'd be like, I hate you so much.
Like, I mean, people have said video games, can't be art and stuff, but clearly, I'm just being... did you play that at all? Did you do any more of that? Too much Breaking Bad?
Too much Breaking Bad.
Okay.
It got to the point where I was having to watch Breaking Bad at work in my off time. Just to catch up. Like, I had a schedule in mind, and I was just like, I need to watch at least 3 episodes at work and then maybe 2 at home to keep on this.
Wow. Okay. Like, that just sounds like work at some point in and of itself.
It was.
Are you not having fun with some of them?
Yeah, I really was not having fun with some of them.
That's unfortunate.
It is unfortunate. That's why I say don't do it that way. Take your time, and like as you watch them or whatever, and that's fine.
Well, just like wanting to be there for the finale is kind of, I get it, but I don't know. That's a lot.
It's not so much the fact that I wanted to be there for the finale, but I needed to catch up to the point where, like, when people are talking on Twitter, it isn't ruining the series for me, because stuff happens in season 5 that, like, if you're on season 3, it's like, well, there's no point in watching any of this now because I know what happens to this person.
Right, or doesn't happen to this person, so there's no suspense anymore. You're just like, oh, that person's still around in season 5? Well, whatever. Then
right, so I basically, every Sunday, I mean, it's been like that for a while, even when I cared about Game of Thrones or other shows. It would be like whatever show was airing that night, I just had to turn Twitter off. I couldn't look at it.
Game of Thrones, Red Wedding, that was the thing. Remember that? Yeah.
Game of Thrones sucks.
All right.
Why?
Swords are so 2003, am I right?
Wait, what?
Did all that stuff already. Peter Dinklage, just derivative. No, I don't
Peter
know.
Dinklage is pretty good though.
Peter Dinklage is pretty good.
He's a midget.
Yeah.
What's
I guess.
better or worse, a midget or a guy with cerebral palsy in your show?
I don't. No matter what you answer, you're kind of insulting a bunch of people. So I'm just gonna abstain. I think.
But I will say in Game of Thrones, at least Peter Dinklage has the line like, "Know what you are," and like, no one can ever use it against you or whatever. So it's like he's still kind of like, I know I'm like the bastard son and blah blah blah, but like it's okay. I accept that and it's fine. Whereas cerebral palsy guys, or Walt Jr., I should say, cerebral palsy
Flynn.
guy, Flynn. Yeah, Flynn White.
Yeah.
He's all just like, nobody tells me anything around here. So he's just kind of a useless character.
Fair enough, I guess.
You're just like, I really don't want to have this cerebral
I just don't
palsy
want
talk again.
Yeah, I don't want to read and open like the darker material from the Lost podcast. So let's I don't know. Hey, Joseph Gordon-Levitt is a person that we could talk about.
Yes, he is. We could talk about him all day, really.
Yeah, Don Jon is a movie that I saw. So.
Oh, okay. How was it?
It was okay. It's about porn and about how a guy really enjoys porn, like a lot.
So it's about
a lot.
You could relate.
Some of the conversations were relatable though. Dude. Okay, like first off, I guess I'll just say like this was almost a plot hole. 13-year-old me knew you should clear your browser history, right?
Mm-hmm.
This guy's like veteran porn addict does not know that's a thing. I thought that didn't make sense.
That's pretty lame. Yeah.
Yeah. That seemed to me like a little bit suspect. I don't know.
That's saying. A little too convenient.
Yeah, like I mean that becomes a point of contention between him and Scarlett Johansson. But yeah, that movie takes some interesting directions I wasn't expecting. And is kind of just its whole thing is being blunt about the fact that pornographic websites are pretty readily available and is a thing that could cause friction in a relationship. But yeah,
no pun intended. What?
Friction? Yeah. See, if you don't use proper lubricants and stuff, yeah, friction.
Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly. That they don't bring that up, but yeah.
That's why I always keep a bottle of lube in my pocket.
Mm-hmm. For emergencies. I don't know. It was pretty good. Kind of funny. There's a loud Italian family in it. They all wear those white undershirts while the two guys do. There's a lot of weird music in it. I don't know. It's kind of like trying to be an anti-romantic comedy in a way, and it sort of succeeds, I guess, at doing that to some extent. A friend of mine kind of compared it to Shame, but I don't know if that's an accurate point of, like, because it's both about sex addiction in some way or another. But that movie is extremely, like, downbeat and just kind of miserable. And this is a comedy. So it just kind of, I didn't really see the similarities didn't really stand out to me in that way. Did you see Shame, Michael Fassbender, Dick movie?
No, I never did.
Okay, yeah, NC-17. Okay. I think this is just R. There's a lot of little like clips and stuff, but they don't really focus on anything going on his computer other than, some sound effects and blurs of images and stuff. So yeah, porn. Pornhub, mentioned by name. That's the site he goes to. So what?
Did they pay for that advertisement? Or?
I don't know. Apparently they mentioned them by name in the credits too, so maybe it's some sort of co-marketing thing, which would be kind of weird, but yeah. Conclusions of the movie. Anyway, now that I've brought up porn, we can move on to something else. You guys still there? You okay? Any questions?
Every time I'm on, we somehow talk about porn.
Well, this time it was like a big movie this weekend, so yeah, I didn't feel totally tangential about it. Sleeping Dogs is a video game I played. It's no Grand Theft Auto, but it's okay.
Did you finish it?
No, I think I progressed a decent amount today, but I'm not sure exactly where I am in the story. I just got welcomed into one of the Triad gangs, so I'm now it's an undercover cop, so he has now risen in the ranks to the point where he is calling some shots within the organization. So that'll surely go bad at some point. Is Paul gone?
Hey.
Left? Okay.
No, there was something was going on. It's cleared now.
Okay.
So we're good.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. Sleeping Dogs is a video game.
They're sleepy. So you're okay with it now because you're in the mode that Grand Theft Auto put you in?
Yeah, like where I'm just kind of like, well, I like open world as a thing, so at least this is doing that. It's not doing a bunch of things nearly as well, but it does do kind of a lot of slow motion stuff with the vehicle combat, which is kind of all right. Like, when you've successfully hit a tire because it slows down time a little bit and like shows the car flip out. So you're just like, okay, like it's easier to battle a bunch of vehicles while riding a motorcycle or something.
I think we have to step back for a second because Foxy the Kid in the chat says you missed the point of the movie.
Oh, I didn't mention the point of the movie exactly, but
is it like a spoiler or something?
Kinda. Well, I mean, where some of the stuff goes with the relationships that develop and whatever. It's not advertising for porn, to be clear. Like, it does kind of address it as a problem, but not entirely either. Like, it's just kind of like a poor substitution for actual meaningful relationships.
Okay.
I think they were getting at.
Mm-hmm.
So you won't necessarily need it if you're fulfilling everything the way you're supposed to. Whether or not that's with Scarlett Johansson, I'm not saying if it is or it isn't.
We got a quick hit question from the chat.
Yeah.
What's your opinion on waterboarding?
Waterboarding looks incredibly unpleasant. I would consider it torture if that's the point of the question. Also, it is in Grand Theft Auto 5. I'm wondering if that is where that's kind of getting at. Do you think?
I think so, yeah.
There's a torture sequence in that. I actually was like kind of impressed with the way they wrote themselves out of trouble with that. They kind of address all the things you would, want them to. Like, it's dirtbag NSA agents essentially making it happen. And Trevor is just kind of cavalier about it because he's a psychopath, but at the same time he does kind of address, all the hypocrisies of the government doing it and whatever. And then he does drive the guy to the airport after and basically just apologize. Just like, sorry bro, it's just kind of thing I had to do, but yeah, good luck with that. You can never see your family.
Even he was not okay with it.
Well, he's okay with it because he's a psycho kind of guy, so he'll hit a guy with a wrench and not really worry about it. But at the same time, it wasn't like vindictive on his part. He wasn't doing it because he wanted to. It was just a thing he had to do for his crime job, I'm assuming. Sorry, I'm just looking at what Foxy the Kid is talking about in relation to Don Jon, and I'm still not. Oh, right. I guess they do kind of bring up romantic comedies as substituting the same kind of creating the same emotional dissonance between reality that porn does for men. So I don't know. It touches on some interesting topics, but it's also a pretty light 90-minute movie, so I didn't leave with too much to mull over. But anyway.
Do they reference the movie Hitch at all?
The Will Smith movie?
Do you know another movie called Hitch?
Well, I'm just thinking of Hitch Talk. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, no. He was a guy, you're right.
Well, and his nickname was Hitch, so I'm wondering if it had something to do with that. But
no, it had nothing to do with him. It's because you were talking about rom-coms or whatever.
Right. No, I did not like Hitch, but they do not mention it specifically. They actually get Anne Hathaway and Channing Tatum to stand in as like fake actors in a fake movie.
Oh, so their regular role then, basically.
Yeah, to kind of make fun of the stereotypes that happen in those movies, like the kind of beats of those stories and how.
Can we talk about the best role Channing Tatum has ever done?
Oh, which one's that?
The Gimp or whatever, like the sex slave kid.
Yeah.
And This Is the End.
That was a nice little surprise cameo.
It was pretty
shows he
good.
has a sense of humor. Yeah. How do
Yeah.
you feel about that movie?
It was dumb. Like, it's
Yeah.
so dumb.
Well, yeah, but was it still fun?
For the most part, I think. Like, I'm still trying to parse some of the stuff in my head. Some parts are just kind of like, yeah, we get it. Like, vague homosexual references because you're friends and weed.
Mm-hmm.
But, I don't know.
Like
It's-
Danny McBride's shtick still works for you, or
Danny
Yeah.
McBride is still probably, like, my favorite character in that movie because he's
Okay.
the one kind of calling out how stupid everything is.
mm-hmm.
Even though he's an evil asshole in the end, really. But whatever. Just making fun of James Franco. Even like that's the thing about that movie is that it's the movie that if you want to see a bunch of guys that hang out together in Judd Apatow movies, like have a house party and act kind of weird with each other with their own names, that's the one, really.
That's the best one of those that there is.
I think it's the only one, maybe.
I know that was kind of the joke.
Like if we're going to be specific, hang
Yeah,
out
always
at a
watch.
house party.
Could always watch Cribs.
No.
Who
Or
was
World End,
was
I
it-
like, but
was
you
it Russell Peters, where he had like that like drawer full of porn? And he's like, don't look. Surprise! I actually wanted you to see it. It was weird. That's when I stopped
What?
watching Cribs.
Wait, what?
Somebody on Cribs, some celebrity, like they were in their room, and like bottom drawer of their clothing thing was like full, like packed with porn, like magazines and shit. I was like, this is
Joke.
argument porn. And I was like, okay, this is.
where I stopped watching the show.
Yeah, that's kind of weird.
Russell Peters, star of Source Code.
Yeah,
available now.
he basically played himself. He was
Yeah.
a comedian on the train.
Yep. That his character was just a comedian as well. And there's a part where he just does stand up for the train.
Yeah,
It's-
and everybody is loving it. Everybody's laughing, and then time stops, and they're all
Mhm.
happy.
Yeah. Aw. How about that?
What a bad way to die. Being stuck on a train with a guy telling Indian jokes, and then you die.
And then the train
that's-
explodes.
That's like the worst. That has to be the worst possible way to die.
I don't want to drown, but I
Drowning would be bad, actually.
Yeah.
You're right.
something about the idea of drowning just is really scary to me. I don't want that to ever happen. Obviously, for just survival reasons, but
Well, yeah.
yeah,
You
I
know,
don't
just
wanna
for
die.
just to
No problem.
live, like that's
Yeah.
probably a pretty
Yeah.
good reason.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. Like besides Breaking Bad, that was really the only thing I've done. I'm just trying to remember what movie I watched the week before. I watched a movie the week before we didn't talk about because I don't think I really cared too much. Oh, Now You See Me?
Okay.
Pretty
I-
forgettable, right?
I haven't seen it. I just heard it's kind of stupid.
Yeah,
Well-
no, it's very stupid. So
Okay.
whoever said that was a smart person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Jesse Eisenberg and Isla Fisher are pulling magic heists.
Oh, don't get me wrong. Like all of the actors in it and stuff are fine.
Yeah.
It's just a dumb script. Like,
Where that story goes is really, really dumb.
and it's hard to talk about without like giving spoilers about what happens in it. But basically, 4 magicians from like different walks of life or whatever. Some of them have worked before. Some of them just heard of each other and whatnot. Get pulled together by one other party to like pull off these heists or whatever. They become like the 4 horsemen is what they call themselves.
Okay.
And they like pull fast ones using magic on people. And it at some point it just turns into a revenge plot. And that's where it lost me. So it's no longer like a Robin Hood thing. It was like, no, this guy's just angry.
Like a revenge plot against like the 1% or something? Does it have
No,
a message?
No, it's hard to just go like without giving spoilers, but it turns into
Okay.
a revenge plot.
Can I ask one question though? Is there at any point like actual sorcery going on, or is it technology and trickery for the most part?
I mean, okay, so I'm gonna blow your mind for a second here.
Yeah.
I'm not a magician, so
Okay.
a lot of the tricks and stuff I have seen people do before, like in actual YouTube videos or whatever, some of the tricks.
Yeah.
And I don't know how they did them still.
Okay.
So that to me is sorcery. And they
Oh, okay.
burn at the stake and
Yeah.
never seen again. But
Okay.
there are parts where it's just like, now she's flying in a bubble, like just stuff that's like, this is obviously CG.
Yeah.
I think that's what
movie
you were
magic
getting at. Yeah.
Is kind of lame in that way because it's just like, well, also editing and special effects are doing this, so this is not just a magic show. But okay, so pretty dumb, not worth time. It sounds like.
It has a plot twist.
Of course it does, but no, that movie looks like it has a plot twist, but I don't know.
Do you want to know
I
the
may
plot
watch it
twist?
someday. No, well, no, it's a spoiler, right?
The person that you didn't suspect was a person directly involved.
Oh shit!
I know, right?
What? Oh man, you got to cut that part out for all the Now You See Me fans out there.
Yeah.
That's
All
just
three of them. I don't think that movie did very well in the theaters either,
No.
did it?
You'd be wrong. That movie did way too well. That
Oh,
was
really?
kind of the big story that weekend. Is it like Now You See Me overperforms, does way better than predictors thought, and you're just like, wow, okay, weird.
That was a headline. It overperforms because nobody should give a shit, basically.
Well, no, it like won that weekend, and yeah, it made more money than people thought. It was actually certifiably a big hit this summer, kind of a sleeper hit.
People don't remember seeing it, and then they're like, "Wait, somebody performed a heist on my wallet."
Oh, yeah. It's so forgettable. I mean, I think that's the biggest magic trick at Vol then, is that they actually got people to watch a movie that basically didn't exist, a storyline that nobody should care about.
A movie that basically didn't exist. Like you walk out of it, you're just like, did I see a movie today? That was the
And then-
trick.
Yeah, then you look up at the poster and you're like, oh, I must have saw Iron Man 3. Why else would I be here?
Yeah, that's what happened. So $150 million or whatever just disappeared this summer, and it was stolen by the people who made Now You See Me. That's more or less.
So
what
in a way, Woody Harrelson, Jesse Eisenberg, and Isla Fisher actually did steal money out of my pocket,
it's true.
and I never even noticed. Actually,
Theaters
that's not
and
true.
theaters
I
will-
downloaded it.
Oh, nice. See, so you got one over on them. That was the secret. Like after the credits reveal. Like
Yeah,
it, you know,
exactly.
credits
stole
roll,
my
and then it's
bandwidth
like,
usage.
that guy, and it's Paul with like a BitTorrent.
Yeah,
download.
exactly. And then, like, right after I finished downloading it, I was like, now you don't.
Mhm.
And I closed the program.
Does that line ever happen? Like Now You See Me, now you don't.
It does happen. It's on a card.
Really?
Yeah,
What?
it's just like on a business card or something that one of them picks up. It's like, now you don't.
Wow.
It happens in the first, like, 10 minutes, too.
Couldn't even wait. They were like so proud of their wordplay.
They were so happy. I think Abracadabra's even said.
Well,
Abracadabra.
is that before or after? No, you don't.
That's after.
Okay. Because I would have walked out at Now You Don't.
In fact, I actually just gave you the plot twist that happened after Now You Don't.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, I just kind of want to bring up, like, that is corny, like Abracadabra, but at the same time, like, I'd be hypocritical to make too much fun of that because there's a character in Stephen King's new book named Abra, and her email is cadabra@hotmail.com or something. So, yeah,
And
that I'll
Pokemon.
apologize for one and then mock the other, you know. There's some
Well, on
corny stuff.
Pokemon, there's Abra.
Oh,
and
yeah?
Abra, and then Alakazam.
Okay.
So,
So,
they're good Pokemon, too. That's the annoying thing.
Mhm. Isn't that new one pretty soon? Like within a couple weeks?
Yep.
Yep.
Okay.
Are you getting it? Are you getting the Pokemans?
No, I mean, the one time they convinced me to try one out was because they had a pedometer, So
Yeah.
that gimmick totally, I thought, was pretty awesome for some reason. So I played
It
that.
is awesome.
But yeah, no, I never really got caught up in that. I think it's just I missed it when I was in that impressionable age when it would become part of like who I am. Like just like this is amazing. It's Pokemon, you guys. Like
Sure.
instead I was playing Zelda and like I don't know, Animal Crossing.
Good games.
No, I'm just saying like different games. Some of them were probably
Yeah.
pretty bad, like Shadows of the Empire, for example. Like,
There's a whole episode of Retro Kill Screen talking about that.
I know, like, it's so weird misremembering, like, no, I thought this was good and acceptable game design at the point in time, where it's just like, fly through, like, just catch all the giant floating Rebel Alliance silver things.
I still wish we were able to record or stream, like, you playing that, like, us playing it.
The first
whatever.
time in, like, a decade.
Yeah, because that was pretty priceless. Just like, what the hell's going on? You just, like, fly off the train for some reason?
Well, yeah, because it's like trying to simulate momentum or something, so the train turns, and then if you jump, you just like float away and fall into the garbage. It didn't have physics back then; they had to make that shit up. Yeah, that game, it's impossible to explain to anyone younger than probably like I don't know, 25, like why that is any good at all.
Mhm.
Or older than a certain age too, because like they remember better games that weren't 3D. So it's got like a sweet spot where people think it's worthwhile.
That's where we are, I guess.
Yeah, that's the age group I am in. So you know, I will take anything I say about Shadows of the Empire with a bag of salt because it's probably not worth any time at all. I kind of want the PC version because I know the textures are better. But
yeah.
because, yeah, part of it's the N64 port where it's just like, oh, this wall is just made of like a tiny little cube and it's repeated like 1,000 times and it looks awful. But that's all we could do, man. It was N64. What are you going to do? The draw distance is like nothing. Ugh. Anyway.
It's a good draw distance. Anyways, Peter, Pokemon, are you in? No? Yes?
Probably.
Yeah.
Okay. You were saying like you can only transfer your stuff one way this time, so this is like the end.
Yeah, there's like an online system.
And you have to pay Nintendo money.
Yeah, it's like $5 a year. But transferring was always one way. Like going from a Game Boy Advance cartridge to the DS ones, that was one way as well.
Okay, but like I didn't really know this was a thing. So like there are kids who have transferred Pokemon from their very first Pokemon game on and on up till now.
Not from the first one, because you can't trade between like the Game Boy Color ones and the Game Boy Advance ones.
Oh, okay. But
That's
Game Boy Advance onwards,
yeah,
people have kept the same roster of creatures or whatever. Okay. Huh. Pokemon. Do you know if they're changing the formula in any way at all?
I don't know anything about it. I kind of like it that way, though, because then it's all a surprise. I still don't even know a lot of stuff that happens in black and white.
yeah, I still need to play those. And I was thinking about playing them soon, but then I'm like, no, the new one's coming out. I'm going to get oversaturated on the series again.
Yeah, that's not a series I can see playing multiple entries in a short amount of time because they're very similar, right?
It's just way too much.
Well, they're
grinding.
the exact same.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of the Nintendo way, right? Like, you don't want to play 8 Zelda games in a row because then you're just, what is that, like 60 dungeons or something?
Well, I'm just thinking, like, the first Zelda, second one on the NES, you could probably play those in a row because they're different.
Mm-hmm.
And then probably Ocarina of Time and maybe Majora's Mask just for the novelty of what they've changed and the mechanics in Majora's Mask. You could probably do those in a row. Like, after that, probably not. I don't know. I haven't played Skyward Sword yet either.
It's a good one.
Get through that. I got like 3 dungeons in.
Oh,
A lot of people start Skyward Sword and they say this is kind of bullshit, but then by the time they're done, they completely turn around on it and say it's one of the better ones. So I don't know.
Well, I kind of had an up and down. Like, there was one dungeon really that threw me off for a while, but I was like just more and more excited and just like, this is great. And then there was this really, I thought, poorly designed dungeon. that was clearly kind of designed to be really big because you got the bow in that one. So, giant long hallways so you can shoot the dudes. But once you've cleared out those dudes, it just becomes long walks up hallways and across this ship with, like, no one there. So it just becomes really boring. It's like they designed it too big. But
I thought the run function got kind of tiresome. No pun intended.
Did you have to hold a button or something, or what?
Like, you can only run for a certain distance, and then he gets tired, and the meter has to load again?
Yeah. That seems kind of weirdly arbitrary, but...
What do you think about...
meter long enough.
What do you think about the new item system for A Link Between Worlds?
What's different with the item system? I haven't read up on it.
You don't pick up arrows and bombs anymore. You just have a meter, and you can shoot, like, infinite, and then that meter rises, sort of like the run thing.
Oh, so it's like you've used too many bombs for recently, you need a cooldown?
Kinda, yeah. But it's like constantly filling up once you use one or two or whatever.
I guess that's kind of interesting, because there were definitely tedious points in dungeons where you're just like, well, I don't have any arrows right now, so I need to find those 2 jars and then go up the stairs and then come back down and then smash the 2 jars and then go up the stairs and then come back to smash the 2 jars, and now I have 10. Awesome. Yeah. Like, getting rid of that problem might be worthwhile. But, I don't know. I'll remain optimistic on that, I guess. Hopefully they know what they're doing.
They probably do, right?
It's looking good. I'm liking how it's coming together.
I don't know why they have to make explicit mention of Link to the Past stuff, though. Is it? It's riffing on that stuff, right? Like, it's like the same.
A lot.
Hyrule.
Yeah. It's like it's a direct sequel.
But like years later, like century later or something. Is it the same guy?
No. I want to say it's one of those 100-year later things, but I can't be certain.
Okay. Zelda timelines. I don't know.
We'll get through that one day in another podcast far, far away.
Yeah, that'll happen. It will happen.
It will happen.
Okay, I got it. It says it takes place 6 generations after the death of Ganon in A Link to the Past.
Okay.
So,
whatever that equals in years.
Yeah, it's a lot.
How many generations happen in 1 century?
I'm gonna round it to like 3 generations per century. Or no, that's being generous. Like 2, right?
No, I think that's a little, like, maybe it's 4 or 5. Right? Like every 20 years, someone could have a kid. So
fair enough.
Yeah. I'll say 4. Let's say 4.
Okay. Yeah, that seems more the way the world is now. You kind of wait a little.
Like, if your society's irresponsible, maybe 6 or 7.
Yeah.
But I haven't had a problem yet. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, me neither. So
actually, it's been close. There's been some close calls, but I think we're okay.
Okay.
Pretty sure. Yeah. Ugh. Timelines. Stressful timelines.
As far as like Nintendo stuff this year, I'm already behind. Like, I kind of want to play Luigi's Mansion. I haven't gotten that yet, but
you've never played it?
No, I haven't played the new one.
Oh,
so like I played the GameCube one back when it like first came out, pretty much. But
yeah,
I didn't play the sequel, so kind of curious about that.
It was pretty good. I haven't played the original though.
I don't know. I remember it being very short. I beat it like a couple times in one weekend, so I'm not sure if it's really worth going back to. But as a GameCube launch thing, it was kind of novel.
Okay. Yeah, this is definitely a lot longer. It has more content and like stuff to unlock.
Oh right. Oh yeah. I actually went to Pinball Exposition this weekend. I just kind of forgot.
Yeah.
Because it was such a rushed thing. Like, it was like right after work. We had a couple hours of time where we could go to that, so I did that because I had work the next day, which was day 2 of the show, but I wasn't able to catch any of that.
Yeah.
Have you heard of the game Sinistar?
Yes.
That game is cool.
Yeah. It was back
like-
then, and it still holds up.
Yeah, I didn't know that was a game. Like, that was never mentioned to me as, like, a classic old game, you know? It's like, oh, Pac-Man, Dig Dug, and Sinistar. It was just, like, not in the lineup of stuff I ever heard people talk about.
Jeff Gerstmann used to talk about that a lot.
Oh, yeah? I guess
Yeah.
I just had no knowledge of what he was saying, so I'm just like, I don't know what that is. So yeah.
Yeah, it's real cool.
No, like, just that, like, it's like, you need to kind of, you're just playing a space shooter, but then this big, crazy monster thing is being built, and then you have to fight it. And he's just constantly making fun of you. Like, that was the main thing I thought was, like, this could never happen now, because arcades, you know? Like, the machine is actively taunting you into giving it more quarters.
Well, that was
Whereas-
the big thing, too, is that it had a voice.
Yeah,
Like-
so the Sinistar machine is like, run, coward, and you're just like, oh shit, this thing's talking mess. I gotta blow this thing up.
I mean,
But-
that doesn't sound like a whole lot, but in 1982, when it was just bleeps and bloops, and then you heard this, like, crazy, like, digitized voice because of the crappy systems they used for it, just saying, like, I hunger and shit like that. You're just like,
Yeah.
oh man, I gotta play this game forever.
Yeah, it's just like,
Yeah.
now I live, and you're just like, oh, okay, it's on now, and then, yeah, the Sinistar starts chasing you. I killed the Sinistar, and I felt really good about that.
Yeah. And so you should. It's an
Yeah.
achievement.
I was only, like, on the machine, I was, like, number 4 on the leaderboard for the day, so I felt pretty good about that. Like, first time playing Sinistar, and I managed to, you know, chart at all.
You charted leaderboard?
Yeah. They
MLG?
also had, they had an iCade there, which...
Yeah. They had that last year too, didn't they?
I think so. I just didn't really sit down with it for a long time. In theory, that thing is great, but then in practice, some of the games are terrible. Because, like, the controls are just like, here, you got a joystick and 3 buttons. What more do you want? It's like a trackball or a hub for Arkanoid. Like, Arkanoid was unplayable. Like, it was just like, no, this just doesn't work. This is a bad port of this. And then I think the one we were playing on, like, one of the joysticks was a little weird compared to the other one, so we were trying to do 2-player kicks, and then it was just like, oh, the up on this one doesn't work, so I can't play kicks. And it's just like, oh, well, that sucks. I liked kicks, though. Do you remember kicks?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just drawing, like, and then the kicks is coming to mess up your line. Like, just super simple stuff, but it just kind of works. I thought it was a cool thing. And I played some Funyuns, set the high score on that. 107,000.
I'm pretty sure that's what you played Funyun on last year.
Oh, okay.
Was
like,
the
was
same
it
machine.
Was it a cocktail one? Or?
Yep.
Okay.
I think, no, Popeye was a cocktail one. It was a stand-up.
Yeah, Popeye wasn't there this year. Tron was, though, and I was way better at it this year.
Tron was hard last year for some reason. There's video, I think, of us
8
still.
minutes to clear one round, whereas here it was like 2. Like, getting into the cone, I did it first try. I was like, oh, all right, this was really hard last year. But I guess I just knew to, like, shoot before and then walk into the, you know, like, anticipate, like, lead it a bit. So,
Yeah.
But yeah, like, I mean, it was kind of a whirlwind, like, 4 hours of arcade machines and stuff, but fun was had. I guess the arcade machines, like, I'm trying to think if there were any real standout machines there. Haunted House was kind of cool. It has, like, a mini board inside it that's sloped the other way.
Mm-hmm. That's the eyes, right? The black screen and the eyes. Haunted House, like, only parts of it are lit up at one time.
Maybe. I don't remember the darkness playing a big role in it, but maybe it was something with that specific machine that was janky. I don't know. Actually, no, I think you're right. Like, the basement board would light up once you go down there. So then you stick down there and play inverted, kind of, which was kind of cool. Volcano was okay. There were no kind of, like, you know, marquee, like, ones I know, like Pinbot, like that kind of stuff. Black Knight, I didn't see any of those. But Demolition Man, that was a table.
Yeah.
Yeah. One
Pretty
of them,
fun though.
Yeah, I mean, it was a fun. It's still a fun event. I'm glad it happens. Like initially I was like, oh man, this sucks. I can't go again tomorrow. Like before I went, but after like 4 hours of playing arcade machines, I was kind of done.
Like that's enough.
Yeah, it's like, well, I've
Yeah.
played like, a decent amount of pinball, and I've kind of gotten my hands on most of the arcade games I care about. There was a bunch of fighting games there, but that's kind of no fun unless you're A, good at those, and B, there's a bunch of other people that want to play it.
Or like people watching you and going, oh, and stuff. In the background.
So it's just kind of like, all right, we'll mess around with, Mortal Kombat for a little bit. There, I did a bunch of uppercuts. Cool. I didn't remember any fatalities, so I wasn't able to do that. There was a game I'd never heard of called Johnny Nero Action Hero.
Okay.
Yeah, it was like a light gun shooter, but it just seemed... Initially, I thought it was a Western-themed game, but apparently that's just like one of 3 stages. One is in space, and the other one, I think you're a cop or something. It almost was like proto Matt Hazard, kind of just, this guy is a hero that goes to different games and does stuff in them, or something. But in practice, it's just pull the trigger 1,000 times, and your hand kind of starts wearing out after a while because you've pulled the trigger like literally 1,000 times.
So it's an arcade game.
Yeah, it's an arcade game, and because like there's infinite credits at that place, it's just like, all right, well, I'll just hit start again. Let's keep fighting. Like there's no tension at all, so you're just kind of lazily shooting everywhere. Like periodically grab the second player gun and hit start on that too, so you're dual wielding, just blasting everything. Despite the Western level, being set in the Old West, if you shoot a bunch, it's like adrenaline mode, and then you just get like a rocket launcher. It was a really stupid game. But yeah, there you go. Calgary
Well,
Pincade.
you compared it to Matt Hazard, so
Yeah, so I guess
that sounds like a stupid game.
lofty comparison right up front. So yeah, 90s shooters. I don't know. I'm trying to think if there's any like classic stuff there, like Donkey Kong Jr., but I don't like Donkey Kong Jr. very much, so I didn't play it. It's
That's
no Donkey
fair.
Kong.
Yeah.
There was like a Namco cabinet that had a bunch of stuff. Oh man, I was like embarrassed with my Pac-Man abilities. Like the high score on the iCade was like 19,000 or something, so I was like, 19,000. This is baby score. I'm just gonna fix that right now, and then like didn't hit it, and then I was like, oh man.
What did you get? What was your top score? Your PB, if you will.
Eventually, I did break it, but it was like 20,800 or something. Like it was not blown away by any stretch, but yeah, we played right till midnight. They turned on all the lights and started shutting off the machines. It was just like, oh, we gotta go. Get out of here. This place is closed. And we did surprise. So, but yeah, no, it was fun. Pincade. Also, I guess Edmonton Expo is this week, but neither of us went this time. So
Yeah. Why would we? We have the better one here.
Dude, I wanted to see Christopher Lloyd. So
like before he dies.
You know what?
He
came to a convention here like last year, and I went to it, and he wanted like it was like $60 or $70 for like a sign, like signing something. I was like, this is kind of egregious.
I guess
the guy from Piranha wanted $60.
Well, at the same time, like for me, it's like no, Doc Brown gets $60. The one that was crazy for me is Ian McDermott asking for like 90, and I was like, you were literally just the Emperor. Like that's all you've ever done.
Yeah.
Come on, like I know it's Star Wars, but I don't know. That
$90.
$90.
Even Captain Kirk and Spock were only like 60.
I know, and it was like these are sci-fi legends over here. You're like a supporting villain in a series. Like what? But yeah. But no, I know. I feel kind of gross paying for autographs ever in any way.
Especially since they're just people and they just need to pick up a pen and write their name.
I know. It just feels like the most pandery. Like it's just like I brought the Blu-ray for you to sign, so I've already like funded your thing. why, I don't know. It just makes you feel dirty. It makes.
Do you know what signature I got for free?
What'd you get? Which one?
Gavin Brown. That's yeah. He co-created Reboot.
Oh, okay.
Oh, that's pretty good then.
He was a cool guy.
Yeah.
Man, Reboot.
You know which one I got for free?
What?
Nathan's.
I signed something?
Sitting right here. I use it every time I need to fill out some government paperwork.
When did I do that?
No, just kidding.
Okay. All right.
I'm going to find something, like, I think I'll burn a copy of, like, top-down perspective on a disc, and then get you three to sign it.
Like, just on a random episode, or just, like, all of them on, like, an MP3 file?
The greatest hits.
Greatest
Yeah,
hits.
the greatest hits, exactly.
Like, the Deadly Premonition episode. Far Cry. I don't know.
It just reminds me of the time we got John to sign his own game.
That is a thing. That is on my YouTube page. Seemed like kind of a mean joke, but at the same time, I was very caught up in the whole prank thing at the time. So yeah,
you were just like, "Oh man, I know you were so into
I can
it."
afford this. It's gonna be great. Yeah. Yep. Tales of the.
I should just ask him if he like wants even that game, and we'll give it out to somebody or something. Because there's probably somebody that would actually like it. Because there's a video accompaniment of it and everything.
Yeah.
It might be worth something to somebody, not to him, but.
What game was it?
Tales of the Abyss, I think, for 3DS.
Was it?
Nice.
I think you're right.
Yeah.
That was so good.
Yeah, pretty elaborate way to make him do that too. It's pretty good.
Who the hell got him to sign it again?
Brad.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like one of Sean's friends who's like, he doesn't recognize me, so I'll take it up and be like, you should do a let's play of this game. Like they had like a cover story and everything. It was just like, oh weird, I have this game. It's just like, yeah, no, I know. It was devious.
Oh, I know.
Oh man, that was a good time though. Like hiding behind the pillar and everything.
Yeah.
Oh.
Runaway Guys panel.
That was. Oh yeah, that was at that time, right?
Yeah. 2012.
Oh, man. 2012.
Mm-hmm. We're on the verge of 2014. New consoles coming out. I don't know if I think I'm just gonna kind of sit out for a couple months on new stuff and just play old games that I like. I've been like entertaining. I'm just gonna play the Mass Effect series pretty soon here. It's just what I'm gonna do.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh man, I'm like playing Watch Dogs, and you're just like, that's cool. I don't know. I don't really want any part of that. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really don't want to be a part of this.
Yeah, I don't want to, keep feeding that Ubisoft machine. I don't know. I don't know what it is, but they just don't do it the way I like it in terms of open world structured stuff. It's just
in terms of games, maybe in general. I can't remember the last Ubisoft game I really enjoyed.
Well, people have been pointing out like they're kind of all weirdly becoming the same. Like if you play Splinter Cell and Assassin's Creed in the same year, it's like you'll see the same animations. Like they just kind of repurpose stuff for different stuff. So it's just like, yeah, there's a bunch of climbing and grappling and whatever in this game now because we figured that out over here, so we just put it in this one too. And that's fine, I guess. Like it's kind of economical in a way, but eventually it's like, if you play all of the stuff, you'll be bored pretty quickly because you're just like, oh, I played Assassin's Creed Brotherhood, so now Far Cry 3's structure is kind of already known to me. So I think I'll sit that one out. Oh, sure. I'm going to play Black Flag. Wait, oh, never mind. That's the same. It just has boat stuff in it. But if you played Assassin's Creed 3, you've already seen boat stuff, so there kind of isn't anything new. But maybe it's more elaborate.
What was that Far Cry Blood Dragon or whatever?
Yeah, I played a little bit of it.
That was Ubisoft, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's the best thing they've done in a while. So I don't know what that says about them.
Well, like that is a thing that can kind of happen where it's like, well, we have all these assets ready and stuff, so now we can give this to someone to throw together something weird and out there with a small team in like 6 months or something, and then yeah, it ended up working out. I guess at the same time, I didn't get too caught up in it.
Sure.
I'm trying to think why. I think it's like I just played Saints Row the Third or something, so I just played a comedy thing. So then I was just like,
Do you want me to tell you the reason why?
these jokes aren't playing. What? Why?
It's because at that time,
Oh.
because of everybody talking about Far Cry 3,
Mhm.
and you liking Far Cry 2, you said fuck everything that says Far Cry on it except Far Cry 2.
Yeah, kind of, maybe.
I think you were in that mode still at that point. Because everybody was saying, like, this is way better than Far Cry 2, and you're like,
That sentence right there is like an automatic like ticket to just me dismissing everything you have to say ever
Right.
again. Like it's just like, well, they finally fixed this shit, and you're just like, all right, I'm just you go in this increasingly full barrel of people's opinions I just don't care about.
The weird thing about people saying something like they finally fixed this or whatever is like it's essentially the same thing. I don't know even what they fixed, quote unquote.
And I could almost be like, well, they broke it because they got rid of the fire propagating stuff, didn't they? Is that even in there?
No, I don't think they got rid of it. You just don't use fire like ever.
Oh, okay. Oh no, that's right. I did
least.
play the demo, and I did accidentally set fire to a building or something. So there is still fire stuff in that game. It's just kind of in the background. That's like the one thing they decided to keep. I don't know. Far Cry 3. Well,
Far Cry 3? Good times.
Well, I mean, but in that way that all Ubisoft games are aspiring to be now. It's just open worlds. Climb the towers as literally in both of them now. Like, what do you think you're going to do in Watch Dogs? Do you think you're going to make you scale skyscrapers? And it's just like, sweet, you did it.
No,
Climbing.
absolutely. Yeah, you're going to climb something. You're going to get a view of all of their work.
Mm-hmm.
You're probably going to silently kill people.
Probably. You're going to, but in this one, you're going to hack stuff, so it's totally different.
Oh, man.
You get to drive cars this time.
Are you going to hack things pipe dream style like BioShock?
Hopefully not.
I hope so.
I
That
hope
would
their
actually
game is not like that.
That would be hilarious.
But yeah, hacking. Isn't there a Mass Effect hacking minigame too?
Yeah, there's a couple.
Oh, yeah. It's like select the chunk of code that matches the picture or something.
And the one where you have to click on the different circles with the icons and match them up.
Right. So, hacking. Just
hacking.
Like, yeah.
Yeah, just like real hacking, like Hackers showed us in 1994, whenever that came out. You just go through this weird grid of formulas and like artwork.
That's a great idea for like bad background movies. I should watch Hackers and The Net. Just
Hackers is easily one of the best movies released in the 90s.
Okay.
But probably not for the reasons people would want.
Excuse me.
Good.
Goonies.
Goonies was the 80s, so...
You know what? I saw it in the 90s. So.
Oh, okay. different, okay.
Goonies 2. Fine.
Why? Where was? Oh, there's a Goonies 2 arcade, like Atari game, but
yeah.
And NES game, I think too.
Okay. Oh man, wait. Lawnmower Man. Have you guys seen Lawnmower Man?
Of course.
I need to see that because I think
it's
I've
good.
seen part, and I just want to like know what it was I was looking at. It's like weird VR. Isn't that what's happening?
Yep.
Yeah.
Gone in 60 Seconds, Nick Cage edition.
Mm-hmm.
Boom.
I've seen that.
Drop the mic. Best movie of the 90s.
Okay.
Maybe. I don't actually know a whole lot of movies that came out in the 90s because that was a while ago and everything seems to bleed together.
Yeah, and I'm like, part of my brain is just like, didn't that come out in 2000? But I don't know.
What?
You might be
Gone in 60 Seconds?
seconds.
No, it was easily between 96 and 99, somewhere in there.
If anything, I think it would have been 99.
You might be right. Yeah, you might be right. I think I would have been 13 or 14.
On IMDb, year 2000.
Oh, it's 2000.
Really? Oh,
Yeah,
snap.
Is it June 9th, 2000? So is it the best movie of the 2000s?
No, it's still the best movie of the 90s because I watched it in the 90s.
How did you put it? I got an advance cut. The Cage sent it to me. He's like, here
Paul
you
was
go.
on
It
set
was a
as an
screener.
extra.
Screener.
Oh, you got a screener copy.
Yeah, because it was nominated for so many Oscars and everything.
Yep. Anyway, now that we've talked about the best cinema there is, let's move on to questions.
Yeah. So we actually had our first question from the chat. Treeman1999 asked, "Do you live in America? If not, what do you think about it? What are some stereotypes you hear about?"
I don't know. I like a lot of movies and video games that come out of there. So there's that. Books too, as it turns out.
I'm gonna say every time I visit, like for different things, I always have a good time. I haven't had a bad time yet. Well, I'm just trying to think if I went down for work.
This year was like the mellowest PAX that I've experienced, but that wasn't America's fault. America held up its end of the deal because I got to go eat a bunch of burritos. So
yeah,
I had a good time.
So, okay, so for one thing, food is cheaper there, like for fast food and stuff.
There. Yeah.
Yeah,
Nuts.
so good. Cigarettes are about 1/3 of the price.
We went through Idaho on the way back, and it's just like, hey, more cheese than you would ever need is $4. Do you want it? And it's like, I'll take 4. Like, we have enough for nachos and pizza for a while. It's great. So
That is pretty good.
Yeah, good job.
Like
Idaho.
I was saying, cigarettes are about 1/3 of the price down there. So for me, that's good.
None of those taxes. What are you doing?
Exactly. The health tax and stuff we have up here. So cigarettes down there are like, what, $5 or $6?
Like black lungs and stuff. Is that how
What's
they
that?
do that? Does that like fund putting pictures of like dead stuff on there? Just like
no, I think it funds our healthcare, if you want to be honest.
Okay, but I mean that's part of the cost, right? Is like putting those warning messages on there.
Sure.
Giant big thing. I don't know. Anyway,
Sure.
Smoking.
Anyways, yeah, so they're cheaper down there. For the most part, the places I've visited, I like the climate better. Like, I like the coastal cities.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that I can actually get fresh seafood, but I mean, that's just a coast thing. You can do that in like Vancouver or anywhere in the east if you live out there.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, we're just kind of landlocked, so good seafood is not a thing we can do here. I don't know. Every time I've gone to America, it's been a pretty decent time. Things are cheap, just things. Like, you go to a mall and you can buy something.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Having a full, like, thick wad of ones makes you feel cool. I like that.
I don't
Man,
like
I
that.
got all this money. And it's just like, no, it's...
I don't like the currency. I don't like having a wallet full of like cash and then it's just like, oh, these are just ones. I have $3 or something.
Well, yeah, it's just like, man, I still got a bunch of money left. Oh, wait, no, that's just $19. So 9 of this wad is, yeah, it's not good.
Yeah, because like, okay, so you're saying that you like this idea that like you have just this wad of cash, right?
Yeah, you can make it rain easily.
Sure.
Like, even be a rabbit.
Sure. Okay, but like, say you wanted to buy a plushie or something from a stand at PAX, right?
Yeah.
You're giving them this wad because that wad was $10. Like,
That's
you're
true.
handing away a wad now.
It's
so
true.
no, I don't know. I don't like the currency.
Oh, man,
thing.
and they still have pennies there, and that was kind of messed up. Because I would just walk up and be like, oh, I want to get this transaction over with, here's $10. And I'd be like, oh, dude, like, my wallet filled up almost instantly. It was just like, gross. Now this is way heavier. So, man, remember pennies? Those were so crazy.
Yeah.
Back when
Yeah,
we
I
had
didn't
them.
even think about that, honestly, but you're right.
Right, like, this is the first year where I've been down there, and that's been, like, a differential. Like, I've gotten used to a no penny future up here. So that was kind of a mind-bending thing.
Yeah.
Barely bending my mind. I wouldn't even say it bent it that much at all, but it was, something to adjust to.
What about you, Peter? America. What do you think?
Try not to blow yourselves up. That's all I gotta say.
I
Okay.
mean, I guess on the flip side, stereotypes, like, yeah, they like war a lot, maybe too much.
They like
Stop.
war and
And-
killing people and probably meth.
They kind of way into war crimes and drones down there. It's kind of weird. That's the great
Oh.
American pastime, right?
Yeah, and they're all religious nuts because that's
I
all
guess-
you hear about on CNN.
Yeah, actually, me joking about American pastimes, like they kind of keep maintaining this illusion that like baseball isn't really boring, and it's kind of sad to just watch it happen because you're just like, I know you guys invented this thing or whatever, but it's really not good. You should probably cancel it. And they're just like, no, World Series. It's
But they have the better hockey teams because they have more money to buy our players. So
true. Yeah.
I don't know. I think, like,
smack about baseball,
all joking aside, there's ribbing back and forth. But, I mean, Canada and America, it's the same fucking country, dude. Like, for the most part.
Yeah. A lot of similarities, for sure. More than differences.
Way more.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay,
there you go.
Let's move on to voicemails. First one is from Yelth900. Oh, wait. I probably should be able to play them, right? That would probably help.
That would be good to hear the questions. But
well, I could
if you
answer
have a
them.
transcription or something.
You can impersonate the people, but
That might be
That probably-
offensive. We know
Yeah,
we know how that went with the cerebral palsy
Cerebral
thing.
palsy.
Yeah. All right, here we go.
Hey Paul, hey Nathan, it's me, Allison, and I was going to ask, with the recent releases of Grand Theft Auto 5 and the next one up-and-coming game that's probably going to sell a lot of money, Pokemon X and Pokemon Y, they're pretty expensive. Grand Theft Auto 5 costed like around $60 from what I saw at like Best Buy that day, and they were already sold out, so I couldn't really purchase a copy myself. And I already have my pre-order for Pokemon X, and I just have to ask, with video games getting more expensive and such prices like that, do you think they're actually worth getting?
Are video
Not-
games worth getting?
Well, I mean, it's kind of weird with a lot of stuff now. I'm in this mentality where it's just like, yeah, I'll just wait for the Steam sale, or I'll wait for PlayStation Plus, or I'll wait for, just, I don't know, the sequel when that thing drops to $20 or whatever. Like, I just don't care about getting there day one anymore.
Sure. Yeah.
With like
So-
90% of stuff. Like, Grand Theft Auto is an exception.
Can we
for-
say, just like as a general answer, no, games really aren't worth $60? Like,
I mean,
for the same stuff we've been seeing over and over, like it was novel or whatever when you first got your Xbox or PS3, and this third-person shooter with good like cover mechanics, that Gears of War came out. That was probably worth $60. Like, was 3 worth it, or Judgment or whatever the fuck else they put out? Probably not.
Oh yeah, Judgment. I forgot about that game.
Dude, everybody did. But like, so yeah,
Yeah.
games are probably not worth $60. It just kind of depends if you're really into a series.
Yeah, like, I mean, generally speaking, for me, like, most games that come out aren't worth $60. Like, I'm kind of enjoying Sleeping Dogs, but I would feel, like, just totally bamboozled if I paid $60 for that game. Like, it's just, like, especially considering how fast the prices drop. Like, seeing that it was $6 and, like, 24 cents at the last Steam sale would just kind of, like, break my mind. If I'm like, but 6 months ago it was what? Like, it's like every game is basically a sports game now in terms of like its longevity. Like, you can go to any cash converters or something and there's just like an ocean of sports games that are worth like negative 50 cents. Like, I think they will just be so thankful if you get those out of there. Like, it's sort of becoming that way with more and more stuff just because people don't value older games the same way. Like, most of them, right? Like, they're so incremental. Like, a new racing game comes out, it's basically replaced all previous entries in the series. So why would you ever play Gran Turismo's, like, 1 through 4 ever again? Right? As an example. So it's kind of a strange thing with, like, the way... Like, it's not like, oh, well, the story was told. It's just like, no, it was kind of a simulation of a thing, and now there's a better simulation of that thing. So all previous iterations are kind of not up to snuff anymore. So yeah, I don't know. Like, just wait for sales for most of that stuff. I mean, if you're really invested in a specific series, like I was for Grand Theft Auto, like $60 seems like nothing for that. Like, in that specific example, for me, I was like, oh, I am totally happy with this. Like, this is such a rich experience for me. I don't care. This is totally fine.
Sure.
But or like, if you're way into Pokemon, it's like, well, this is hundreds of hours of entertainment right here, so that's a good value. But yeah, if you're kind of in this mentality where you're trying to keep up with all of the stuff that's noteworthy, like right away, yeah, that can get expensive. I used to do that. Like
I did too. It was terrible. It was a dark time in my life, and I would get the collector's editions too.
Yeah, and then like it would be kind of when you start realizing like, oh, I didn't actually play that game until it was $20. Why didn't I just wait? Like that was kind of a slow lesson that I gradually realized, but yeah, no, I'm kind of not willing to pay that most of the time, so I don't know.
What about you, M64M?
Yeah. Do you buy new games right away?
Do you guys remember, like, it had to have been, like, at the most recent, like, GameCube, Xbox era, brand new games were, like, $50. And then at some point, it shifted to $60. And I don't know why.
Well,
it's kind of been up and down. But
yeah, SNES games, I remember paying like $80 for, depending on what the game was.
And like
That's
I said,
ridiculous.
$96 for Shadows of the Empire. And
yeah.
I didn't think it was crazy then, but it's absolutely crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, like yeah, you're right. The GameCube generation, I think that was like $50 was kind of the standard. And then it did go up like a $10 next gen premium, and then they just kept that premium.
Yeah.
And it's just like, oh, okay. But and then, like PC games for a while were always $10 cheaper, but then eventually some publishers were just like, no man, StarCraft 2 is worth $60, so it's $60. And you're just like, okay. Or like Call of Duty, I think, did the same thing. Actually, did StarCraft launch at $60? I feel self-conscious about that now. I know Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 specifically did. That was kind of a news story when it happened. Like it was like,
think it
no
did.
man, pay us. But
No,
yeah,
pay us now.
Yeah, but again, kind of like Steam has kind of broken the economy of this. I will say though, like I've heard it posited that games, the reason they still cost more is just because that is literally the only income they get, unless they're doing like DLC and all that shit. But like, in theory, it's like, well, give us $60 now, please, because if you don't, like, we're just not going to be able to cover our costs or any of this other stuff, because it's not like we can then put it on, like with a movie, you put it on Netflix, you put it on different, like, syndicated TV channels and whatever. Like, there's other revenue streams for a movie instead of just theaters. So if it doesn't do great in theaters, it still has, like, 4 other chances to break even. Whereas with a game, it's just like, well, the game is out now. And piracy exists and all this other stuff, so there's kind of a one chance to make it a hit, and if it doesn't work, then it doesn't work. So that's kind of why they kind of take the audience that is excited about it to, they kind of ask a lot of them. But
they ring them out.
Yeah.
I mean, we know you're following us, so give us all your money. That's the prize for being able to put up with some of the bullshit we do, is you get to pay us.
I know. They kind of do take advantage of, like, loyalty in a way that is kind of gross. So, but again, I guess that is kind of just an arbitrary, it is that way because that's the way it's done, though, because game budgets aren't nearly as high as movie budgets. So it's not like they need to cover as much money. And then at the same time, I think back to, like, 2005 when NFL, like, when ESPN released their game at $20.
Yeah.
Like, if that was a profitable solution for them then, like, that EA keeps asking 60 is kind of just highway robbery. Because it's not costing them nearly as much as they're pretending. So it's just like, okay. Like, if developers are willing to stop asking so much and just be like, oh man, do you remember when Walmart would do the $40 launch games?
Yeah, I do. I used to go to them actually exclusively because of it. And they would give you special stuff with it too.
Yeah, I was like, I only kind of care about Borderlands, but $40, okay. I only kind of care about Just Cause 2, but okay. And then I was happy with both of those, and I didn't have to pay as much anyway. Like, it was like a good incentive to go to a specific retailer. Cerebral palsy.
This is bullshit.
Man, we're just the worst. I apologize. I feel bad. Actually, at some point, now that I've made a joke, I am no longer.
It's too easy.
It's too
Yeah,
easy.
it's too easy. See, now you're.
That was actually me tripping over my words, but oh well. Ugh. Apologies to all concerned. Email. What's the email address if they want to yell at us?
I'm not saying it.
Okay.
I
Keep
think
listening.
it's just podcast@pixelresponse.com.
Okay.
We'll go. Yeah, we'll just like maybe we should have an HR one. It's like just like problems at pixelresponse.com.
Right?
Complaints
Like,
at
made light of this
pixel-response.com.
horrible thing that happened. Anyway, what was the? We got another question.
Yeah, we have one more from Flizer.
Okay.
He sent one in last week.
What?
What?
I was just chuckling going on. I'm like, what did I do? What?
Sorry, no.
Let's just play the question. Hold on.
Okay.
In terms of Zelda companions like Navi, Tattle, Midna, the ship, and Fi, which is the most annoying and which is the least annoying?
Trying to think. Like, it's usually when they don't pay any regard to the fact you've already heard something. It's kind of a thing that bothers me.
Hey, listen. It's
So-
not.
Hey, listen's pretty bad.
What about Kapora Gabora,
Who's that?
the owl?
Well, he's just kind of like a periodic dude that shows up, so he's not a companion. But he was kind
Fair
of
enough.
like just that it defaulted to. Do you want to hear that again? Yes, as selected
Yeah.
option
Yeah.
was pretty terrible. But I don't know. Fi wasn't that annoying, but her singing animation was terrifying. I don't know if you haven't played it enough. That won't.
I haven't
matter.
played it at all. So.
Yeah, Midna. I just didn't play much Twilight Princess, so I don't really know how that character panned.
Midna is easily the least annoying out of all the ones he mentioned.
Yeah.
Okay. Tattle was fine. It was basically Navi, but in a way better game. So I'm just being a dick. It was a great game though.
Dude, it's great.
So yeah, I guess just because it's become such a joke, probably Navi by default then, right? Like just kind of
Hey,
interrupt you. Hey, listen.
Are we just doing console games?
Are there other? What do you mean? Like
Because he had like
portable?
Ezlo.
Oh yeah, Ezlo's the hat. Ezlo's pretty great. I don't remember.
There was some great character development there.
Yeah, I thought Ezlo was pretty cool. Who was it? Just the King of Red Lions again in Phantom Hourglass, or
No, he's not in that game.
Okay. Oh yeah, you just have a different ship entirely. Do you have a companion? It's just like kind of you have this captain dude who's with you a bunch.
Yeah, Lineback. But there are fairies there, but not really. They're like your stylus thing icon.
Yeah. Like when your stylus is on screen. Like yeah.
Yeah.
So
And
yeah, I
then-
guess we'll just go with Navi probably.
Yeah.
That's for
Bitch!
yeah.
Yep.
Exactly. Thanks, Jesse. Is that all we got? Is that questions?
That's all we got. Yeah.
Okay. So go to the website, look on the right side, there's a voicemail thing. Send us stuff.
Are you done?
Yeah. Oh, what? You're not gonna Nathan at
Yeah.
pixel-response.com?
No.
Krasner?
No. Just hold on.
Yeah, right, dude. Yeah. Never mind. Sorry I did that. Thanks for joining us. September 30th.
Got a question or comment for the show? You can email us at podcast@pixelresponse.com or leave a voicemail using the voicemail feature on the right side of the main page. On Twitter, you can reach Nathan at Krasnor and Paul at Exposure. Be sure to check us out on Facebook at facebook.com/thepixelresponse and visit pixelresponse.com for more.
I'm still not used to that. Sorry I started doing it.
No, it's
But,
you know what? It's all good.
Okay.
I accidentally misspelled your name on Twitter,
Okay.
and Foxy the Kid was like, was that a misspelling or an insult? Because I called you Krasbor.
Oh. Oh, man. Okay. Self-esteem.
Self-esteem is 0. Anyways, I think we're done for this week. Peter, thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
When is SpaghettiCast coming back? For the love of God.
When you least expect it.
So never.
Same week you release Retro Skill Train. Oh.
I'm expecting it like next week, so it's not going to be then, I guess, right?
Yeah, no, we'll be back soon.
Okay. Retro Kid. Asshole. Such an asshole.
You brought it up.
Anyways, you know how this goes. We're out.
Funyuns. Hey.
Funyuns, bitch.